We are here with SDP presidential candidate Prince Adebayo, Adewole Adebayo Esquire. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, can we please meet you? Can you tell who you are?
You just told them now.
Let's hear from you.
I will support what you said. My name is Adewole Adebayo. I'm the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, AIT, a party that is well known in KANO. One is almost every election in KANO, not the public. That's Bala Kogura, a well-known leader, as the governorship candidate. I'm the presidential candidate. We're here in KANO to rally KANO people together so that we can follow the tradition of Malam Aminu Kano to fight poverty and security.
Prince, you are a very renowned lawyer and also a broadcaster. Can you please tell us why you think you're a very renowned lawyer and also a broadcaster? Can you please tell us why you think you're the best candidate for this election?
Well, I came out looking at the field, came out with best ideas. You look at the issues that we are dealing with in the country. It is the issue of the time that will tell the leader of the time. And the issue we are dealing with now is poverty, extreme poverty, and insecurity. And if you look at the Northwest, where we are located now, it's the epicenter of this phenomenon. People are struggling in Kano. Kano is a commercial city. It's supposed to be like our own Beirut, our own Medina, where we can bring people from other parts because of participate in economic activity, where we can export gum Arabic to the Middle East, but the oldest airport operating in Nigeria is KANO Airport since 1938. So if poverty can be this endemic in Kano, to the point where many families feel from refugee dump, where in real life situation, family members, mothers especially go around looking for field pack of watermelon to put salt in it and feed their children. If that is happening, and you listen to the conversation across the country, but you know what talking about it, but you know what dealing with it, but you know what informing the country of the revenue leakages that we have. We're the one mentioning the fact that we're not making social investment, no housing. If you go to the market in Kano, you know the markets are populated, no investment in building new markets, no modernization going on. You see the number of kids out of school in Kano. The Kano is a laboratory for social revolution if you want to do it in Nigeria. And that's why Malam Kano left Bauchi when he was under Malam Sunku. And they were talking about the poverty around Bauchi and how the native authority with the colonial government they were not doing enough. And when Malam Kano saw all of that, he realized if Bauchi with less problem, less population of Talakawa could be working up to these issues. He needed to come home to Kano and to now know the amount of progress that was made at that time. Kano commerce became stronger. The poor people, children were put in the school. Many were allowed to farm on their land. Many of the things you take for granted now, as people go to their farm, wasn't possible in those days. Even to raise cattle, the Jangali taxation was it was not profitable to be a cattle rearer even. So these revolutions were made. The justice system was fairer. Nobody could seize your land, seize your crop. Nobody could enslave you. And all of this led to even the Kano businessmen now saying that people had better economy and trade grew, and many people now came and added to people. And so this is what we want to do in modern times. So, and if you look at the amount of investment that was made in Kano by Adubako, building the Tiga Dam, the Lower Dam, and we now could do agriculture. If you study Kano historically, Kano was seasonal. If the dry season, nobody will farm. And the food shortages were very serious. Now, these dams and everything were built. So, Padama farming started in KANO, then KANO Jigawa was part of KANO, and you go around. Now, you can, if you see the dam in Adeja, you see all of those investments, that's what government does. How can now we find ourselves in 2023 and we're trying to transition to a new government and we're not addressing these issues? Those are the reasons why we have the best platform, we have the best message, and if it pleases God, we will become and winner of the election, we will run the best government.
Now, one of the greatest challenges of northern Nigeria, not just Kano State, is education. If you eventually win this election by becoming Nigeria's president, what are the programs to improve the educational standard in northern Nigeria?
You see, when you address education in the north, you don't go straight to standard, you go to access, educational access. Because you can, when majority are out of school, the young people, you cannot just focus on the quality of those who are inside. However, if you are to get access, you have to deal with poverty. Because the best place for children to be an entry point to education is family. And when families are disturbed by economic uh, dysfunction, where father has 9 children, you can't feed them. The mother has 6 or 5 children, 4 children, you can't feed them. And those children are released to the street. And there could be some intervention from the mullahs and malam, say, okay, let the child is let's put the child for Quranic recital, let the child learn Quranic education. But the mothers can't feed the child. So the child become a Manjuri, goes around, and the way it used to be done in Greece in those days, where scholars would go beg for food, eat, come back, and continue study. But over time, the begging overtook the study. So what we need to do basically is to now address social poverty so that children can stay at home. And for children who are already dislocated due to being orphaned and all of that, there are institutions around the palaces, around the madrasas, around the local government that we can use to put them in school. And I always illustrate this particularly by giving an example that who can relate to it, not because I enjoy using it, but even President Buhari himself was picked and put in the nursery and in primary boarding. So from that young age, the government took control of his welfare from their secondary school, then the army, from there now. So that model has produced a president instead of the boy who was the foreign cattle and learning become an Almanji. Why don't we use that approach? More so that has pleased God to give us the resources to do so. So once you do that, education becomes automatic. And once you pay the teachers well, and we develop the curriculum properly, we'll bring quality output. If you look at Barewa College, and many of the other schools were established, mostly in Zaria area, Choko Middle School, many of those schools in those days need Bida all the way to Ampa and other parts. You will see that they produce high quality graduates. Many of the people who went to teacher training school in those days function well as ministers. They went overseas, worked in the UK and everywhere. So there's quality. Not talk of maybe Zaria and other places. So there is quality in the north. You do not have quantity. So when you look at it in the north, historically, quality has never been the problem. It was quantity, the number of people. So if you go to a community, you won't have as many people educated. But a few educated will be soundly educated. Many are even educated both in the Western way and the Islamic way. So quality of education is not okay, but access is very bad. But in recent times, because of ASU strike, because of the polytechnics, not much investment has been made in them, and the bulk of education in the north have been the teacher training schools. These teacher colleges, also many of them have been left. without much investment. So that has dropped the quality in the way. But we now working together to make sure that we address both access, which will bring the quantity of people required, and then we take advantage of that. The tradition of quality always be there, and to invest in the quality factors, pay the teachers well, do the library very well, and then make it a little more didactic. That's really a little bit of their culture.
Yeah. Considering the SDP manifesto on education, pre-education is also part of your agenda, and also looking at some of the in 2015 the program of President Goodluck Jonathan when he introduced the elementary system of education, it went a long way to encourage a lot of the indigent children to attend college. So I don't know if you are also looking at that to ensure that we have a high number of these indigent children called the elementary to be encouraged to go to school.
Majority of our people are indigent, so we should not look at it like we are. We use this language, which language of international organizations, the language of NGOs. Talking of their narrow programs. The whole country is indigent. So unless you are in government or you are in high business, which is also supported by government, the rest of the country is indigent. So even as I was doing interview in the Emir's palace there, so many of the journalists they look indigent to me because I don't see how the salary of a media person will be able to sustain a family of 4 with the wife and pay all these high bills they pay in school. So everybody is indigent, So I think that we should just address poverty. We also address poverty, and the window to address poverty is basically one: the things that make you poor. The government has to make sure that you make it available. This is first nutrition. With all the investment, KANO alone, maybe KANO Jigawa, that is the old KANO, can feed Nigeria completely. As if that was the only thing we had, and we have much more than that. So you address nutritional poverty, the food should be available affordably. 2, you address housing. Habitat is very important. If you look at the way our people live, don't be deceived by Kano City, Nasarawa, where we are. If you go around, go to Gesawa, go to other places, it's all across Kano and the rest of West, Northwest, and the rest of Nigeria. We have urban shelter problem, we have rural shelter problem, we have servicing our habitat problem, getting water to get there, getting basic the amount of electricity, functionality. So those issues we need to address. Now, once you do that, the medical care. A lot of people are carrying diseases. You see people with go on the street with scabies on their skin, with goiter, their throat. You know, basically, it's just a nutritional issue. This person needs to have a bit of change in their nutrition, and they won't develop all these things. You see some children stunting, you see people look at their eyes. So we need to work on that and do medical intervention. Then you go into the issue of education. It's also a poverty education tool, poverty education to children in school. We have an engagement with the government that have in school. And throughout the time I'm in school, if I don't have breakfast at home, when I get to school, I will eat and all of that. And it's not a difficult program to run, if you really with honesty. And then the 5th component of that you with gainful employment. And the final escape from poverty is gainful employment. So whether a person is born blind, deaf, and dumb, if you teach them any skill and they can use the skill to feed themselves, they will not be poor. So there's nothing that can make you poor. You see Ray Charles, blind person, become millionaire by singing, using his voice. So it doesn't matter. When I was in the university, when I was in law school, I had a completely blind person who was my classmate, and he passed, and he's practicing law since then. So it doesn't matter what position you find yourself. If you are able to have access to gainful employment, poverty is not your problem. So then the last component of dealing with that is to do basic infrastructure for our people, so that they can live in modern times. They can travel easily in town, they can carry their goods easily by rail line. Where we have water services, you can deploy water vessels for them to carry their things. even ordinary ritual, basic thing, mechanizing methods of carrying produce from the market, from the farm to the market, do basic common sense things like avoid potholes on highways so that people can travel, do some basic security so that we carry goods at night, carry passengers in the day. So those things, once we put them in order, basic things, not putting fancy, the GDP will increase, people will be happy, and the rest of the creativity, building the superstructure of the economy, they left to the people. What is killing people in Nigeria is that whatever what talent God has given to you, the government is there to deny you the use of it. If you are an artisan, there will be no electricity. If you're a farmer, your goods will rot in the farm. If your goods don't rot, you yourself will rot because militants will come and shoot you there on the farm. By the time it's 7 p.m., the whole economy is shut down. You can't do that. Those are the things that brought us here. Those are the things we want to do.
Now, no, one of the economic powerhouse of northern Nigeria is agriculture.
Yes.
Now, and we discovered that most people right now find agriculture based on this high level of insecurity. Can you please tell us your security plan for Nigeria, especially narrowing down to northern Nigeria?
Well, I will take you across the country because what works in the north will work anywhere. Nigeria is not that big. The issue of the security is basically one. You must have territorial integrity. When we use that slang, we don't use it. Your territorial integrity is not only when England, when the United Kingdom attacks you, when France attacks you, when Nigeria attacks you. No. Territorial integrity is that the reach of government, the instructions of government, command orders, ordinances of government will take effect in every square inch of the territory. That's what the territorial integrity is. We need to restore that. There are places in Nigeria today where President Buhari cannot say, don't do that. So they can't travel home to come to Dara from Abuja without taking permission from terrorists. So they can't work freely. So we need to deal with that. And to deal with that means that we have the control, and then we have law enforcement that does their work. The problem is that we have retained the name Nigerian police, but it doesn't police anything. It's just like uniform escorts that follow particular individuals. Escorts, they abandon the territory, they create a safe corridor for individuals, VIP to pass. That will change. You have to be in charge of the territory. If you're a divisional police officer, you can only be a divisional police officer if you are in control of the division. And if you are an area commander, you command the area. So we must, to do that, why government hasn't done it, I've always said, one is that to have a very effective police is not the dream of Nigerian community. Because there's a lot of criminality involved in policy, and a lot of criminality involved in their way of governance. So to restore the police to its statutory position is dangerous to them. And you will find out that in many countries in the world where they have effective policing, politicians are not really that stable. They have to behave too. And they are used to lawlessness, where everything works for them. That's why in our own time, it will be a lawful government. We're not afraid of the police. We use all these powers back. Secondly, to invest in the police, you have to reduce corruption at the top level of the police. So if you look at the amount of money spent in the police, if you want to spend on the welfare of police officers, then there won't be much money. So you don't have to you won't have a police service commission or police ministry or police high command and be very rich. You will be like Kamsalem of those days, who rely on their pension. Because the money will be spent on the welfare of your men. Every policeman on the street will be accounted for, even their ration, their lunch, everything will be brought to them there. So you run it very well. And it's not as if we need to go and revenge you. Just you have to do that. And then where you have police barracks, if you need to maintain them for limited purpose, make sure the police barracks are good. But my plan is to integrate the police into the community so that they can live among the people. But for mobile police and all of that, we can create barracks for them because sometimes we move them from where their families are to where they need to do some operation. So, the idea of mobile police was Zachariah's idea, and it was meant for rapid intervention because President Zachariah was very wise that I would not want to use the military for internal security too much. So let me create a division, a unit in the police, mobile force that can take from place to place. So we'll reorganize all of that. Then the DSS have to go back to the background. It should not be seen too much. It should go back like the Secret Service in America, go to the background. It should not partake in politics at all. It should not try to political parties. That way they can handle intelligence, then they can be the secretary of the Joint Intelligence Board so that they coordinate all these diverse intelligence. And then civil defense push them back, have more relationship with the civilian and in the background. So and then take care of the infrastructure, like for example, all these rail lines being attacked, pipeline being attacked, and all that. So we'll take care of it and we'll restore people back to their communities. And I've also recommended at a higher level that we may try as much as possible to reform the police system and move policing from exclusive to where it should be, so that if you have a law-making power, that's House of Assembly, KANO State, instead of KANO running his back and doing some shadow police, it should be KANO Police Command. Why do you have a his back? So run it properly, do the law, and then do that across the country for any state that can afford to run its police service to introduce. The same thing for government authorities. If they have ordinances and bylaws, they should have the police with limited power to enforce those things. These are the basic things that we do, and you see that every square inch of Nigeria is under law. That's what we do.
Now, further to this discussion, some of the things you said. Now, do you believe in restructuring?
Restructuring is what you do. You know, it's restructuring. I don't know. Nigeria, they still language.
Yes. So your own understanding on that issue of restructuring is actually on the strong burner right now. A lot of politicians use it to campaign, especially presidential candidates. So if you
don't know what it means,
if by the grace of God you become the president of Nigeria, how would you want to restructure this country?
First, I will restructure my government, because that's my job first. To say you want to restructure the country, I challenge all the presidential candidates who are talking about restructuring and do a debate on it. They can't restructure Jack. They're just talking. Before you can say you will restructure the country, you have to restructure what you are in control of. Have they restructured their politics? First and foremost, which political party has restructured its own politics so that their state branches have autonomy? Running, they are still removing even one chairman from Abuja inside their political party. They are still doing central command. So do you get what I'm making? So they haven't even restructured their own political party. So these people are just sloganeering a way to develop us. So the first thing you do is you restructure it and make it work. So I will use executive orders to control my people. And areas where we have federal authority, the subject matter is local. We consider local people to do it. And then once we settle down and they have seen the example of how I've restructured the presidency and the executive branch, then I would seek the National Assembly and House of Assembly understand that we can use this model. So now amend the Constitution and shift some of the exclusive items into the concurrent components of the budget or of the Constitution, in the supplementary, in the annexure to the Constitution, so that we can move this item to the middle, and then both sides can play on it. Just like education now, that's how we have state university, polytechnic, because we will put it in the middle. Imagine if we took education to the exclusive. It means that a state that has all the enablement to set up schools will not be able to do so. So I don't see any reason why that should be this. I also believe that even there should be a university licensed by the KANO State University Commission. So go around like that, so you do it that way. That's what we will do, but you must lead by example, not just saying things hypocritically. The hypocrisy is the original sin of Nigeria. We just say things we don't believe in, things we don't practice. You must practice, preach, and then preach after your practice.
Thank you very much. So I want us to go into the issue of the economy right now. Now, the Federal Bureau of Statistics released a template sometime, I think that was last week or 2 weeks ago, saying that the next Nigerian president will have a lot of work to do, especially on our debt profile currently. So if you are the president of Nigeria, how will you be able to? Can we first of all do an economic plan for Nigeria?
I don't know how many hours you have, but the economic plan is basically that you get the people to participate in the economy. Nigerians are bystanders because the economy is based on sharing money. And people who share money don't want it to be around. So the government shuts everybody down. So unless you are a commissioner of finance in the state, accountant general in the state, governor in the state, and then you meet your colleague at Abuja, you are out of the economy. There's nothing you can do. You can have a beautiful woman in your house who has a skill in tailoring. She can participate in the economy because she opens a shop, you'll be harassed there. There will be no electricity to run it. She wants to buy fabric from up to 300 kilometers away. There's no way to get it. So if she wants to import anything, profiteers inside custom want to turn you to their slave. So you pay more money to them than to any other thing. So what I will do is to make sure we open up the economy. First, I will distance the central bank from the government completely. Be away from me and stay where they are. So that the board of governors can govern the central bank. Then they learn how to behave. Central bank is said, I can tell you, people are talking about how Nigerian government is broken. Central bank is more broken on the monetary side. So I will free them. Then, because I'm not surviving on my fiscal discipline, because I don't have anybody in central bank who is going to cover my mistake for me, I'll make sure that I capture my revenue very well. So that a civil servant who is a revenue officer knows that if I miss 200 naira revenue, I will get a query because people above me know what I should have. So that is why you saw that I started talking about the theft of our crude oil. I raised it to national prominence. It's been on for many years. Not only under President Buhari, they stole a lot under President Jonathan, they stole under President Buhari, Passenger, but people just assume let them steal it. But I now tell you that's the beginning of the economic downturn because they're not capturing enough revenue. And in the years of oil boom, you are losing a lot of revenue because you got more money and they go to FAC, all of them are happy, jump up and down. But you are losing revenue because when the lean time comes, you will have a problem because of the money that means it's just like a person who is working in an office and is collecting his salary. There's half of it is used for gambling or otherwise lost. The day he loses his job and he's not able to get income at all, he will not remember the one he carelessly threw away. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Now, our government will capture our revenue very well. Second part we're going to deal with that we're going to have accountability. Easy for you to know. Nobody is going to be asking my Minister of Finance silly questions because every day we tell you the money that comes to you, website can go to, we just stream it to anybody. The third component is that we govern our procurement correctly. Nigeria is buying what it doesn't need at a price it cannot afford. And that is the expenditure side of it. So we will, in our own time, we only buy what we need and at a price we can afford. So that way you balance it. Then the advantage of that is that because you are not visiting the monetary window often as federal government, you're not doing deficit budgeting. You are then private sector people can now approach the banking system and use the money to create their own businesses, factories, and all of that. But right now, the money you will have used to set up a factory, to get an idea, is already being borrowed in the government that has a 21 trillion naira budget and is projecting, which is still going to fail anyway, that they can only source 9 trillion. You can source only 9 trillion, but you are borrowing, you are doing a budget of 21 trillion. So you want to borrow about 11 trillion or 12 trillion. This is what you want to borrow. But historically, I've seen that in your behavior when I studied the regional terms expenditure framework, you don't keep to the agreements. I've seen your 2022 budget. You didn't keep to the agreement. 2021, you didn't keep to the agreement. 2020, you didn't keep. 2019, you did not. So the only sensible budget they did that I can have sympathy for them is that 2016, 2017. They did well in that. So you can see they only got one budget right out of 8. That's not good enough. So these are the things we need to correct. So once we correct that, you will see that the economy can breathe. What the government is doing in our economy is the equivalent of you have God gave you 2 nostrils to breathe. So government have blocked one completely. That's the military side, they blocked it. Then the fiscal one, they also put a cotton wool in half of it. So you are struggling to breathe. On top of that, they put a face mask on your face. So that's what they are doing to the economy. So what we need to do is to free all of those blockages, and you will see that the economy will start to breathe. Because in fact, the amount of money that is sterilized in Nigeria, even in KANO alone, the amount of money sterilized, people buy dollar 1K because they don't trust the government, monetary management, they see inflation, they things, they see devaluation, so they go and keep their money there. Then the risk element of it is that other people who are not financially sophisticated, they put their money in the bank. The bank also sterilizes the money. So you can see that if you try to transfer money on Fridays, try it if you have or look anybody who's in business. Don't transfer money on Fridays. The money doesn't go because the central bank blocks all accounts and takes people's money. You don't have CRR, cash reserve ratio, but they are all lying. They are trying as much as they need to catch your money by the hour to struggle. So and also everybody is working. Money is in the banking sector, and that money is not going to productivity, and that's the cause of it. So we'll deal with that easily.
Now, one of the presidential candidates talking and he made a statement that the become president is going to set some of Nigeria's national assets. He mentions specifically in Nigerian Ports Authority. Do you share in that particular idea?
I can't. They are using it to raise campaign money. They are addressing, they are saying, give me money, I will sell Nigeria asset to you. That's why they are saying it. That's why they are saying, I will sell NNPC, I will sell Port Authority. They are telling these people who have money that if you bribe me with campaign support now, I will hand over Nigeria economy to your hand. It's against Chapter 2 of our Constitution. The commanding height of the economy cannot be put in the hand of a few. So what they are doing is not only economically illogical, it is openly criminal, it is unconstitutional. So I won't do it.
Now, one of our greatest challenges, problem, Nigeria has never been divided like this before. It's just a problem of unity in this country right now. How are you going to unite this country if you become Nigerian president?
That's the job of the president in the head of state. The disunity in Nigeria is an artificial dissemination by the elite. Because united Nigeria is against united looters. So the people who are looting Nigeria are highly united in looting it. They are all friends. These people you see campaigning against each other, they are friends, their business partners, they are in-laws, they have everything. Their lives are so interwoven. So there is no disunity in Nigeria. It is them because they have you guys in the media as their megaphone. They come and say, it's my turn because I'm from here, I'm from there. You will never hear anybody in NCP talking like that. Anybody I see around me say it's our turn, but they are always telling they are from where. Our people are united by poverty. They are united by insecurity. They are united by potholes. They are united by poor infrastructure. All our students nationwide are united by ASU strike. So if your problems are common to you, it's like 10 people being inside a boat and the boat is sinking. And you say, okay, you want to sing. Come and sing on the left side. The outside you want to sing. You are all inside the same boat. Doesn't make any sense. So you should come together. So we don't have a problem. Go around Nigeria, if you remove politics, go to the markets, go to the mosque, go to the churches, go everywhere. Nigerians are united. Everywhere. They are all mixed together. There's nothing. You can come from KANO and go to Imo State, and somebody has only one child, and you say you want to marry that child. The man will give you the child. What more unity do you want? So if you give your child to the enemy, you see somebody who's born in Port Harcourt, you go to Casino and go and marry the wife there. They will give it the wife to him. So what are you telling me? You go to companies, go to CAC, you see companies being formed, board of directors, you see Nigeria of different ethnicity, different religious background. Yeah, so and when they catch criminals and they send them to court, EFCC, what do you see? Different names or different towns. So if they can unite together to commit crime, how can they not unite together to build the country? It is the problem facing the country is that these elites, they are friends. They just position themselves. They are using these regions to rotate power among themselves. So I know you are from the east. So when I do my own, assist me. When I want to give power to you, I will say, "Oh, it's not of the east." You get my point? That's why in 1999, at Just Convention, when it was time to run for PDP presidency, Washington did not remember that it was one of the East, collected from the economy. In 2003, when the economy challenged him, he did say, "Oh, when I've done my own time, it's none of the East, I believe the economy did not." He considered Adesoju, who was considered the Abi, did not say it's none of the East, let me do it. In 2007, when he wanted to choose a successor, he didn't say it was none of the East. He gave it to Adewole after trying all of that options to give it to himself. You get my point? So I'm just giving you to show you that don't follow that. That's just a side. Let us focus. We are one people. We are related to one another, and we are united by the common challenges we have in this small size of land. Nigeria don't know how small their land is until about 15 years time, when our population gets about 275, 300, and they will realize that we are holding each other tight inside this country.
Now, if you become Nigeria's president, I want us to now talk about INEC.
Yes.
How will you make INEC more independent?
We are not talking to them, we are not disturbing them. Their independence is their headache.
No, that's why you're talking about this issue. That's why I asked you this issue of structuring.
Yes.
Now, INEC is still under the presidency. And that's why most times, the people actually assume that they work in favor of the people in government. But to now make Nigerians have more confidence on INEC, what can you tell us your plan if you become president to make INEC more independent?
Is for me, generally, I don't want to think about INEC because INEC, I can, if they are bend the law and they throw INEC under judiciary or whatever they want to, it's not really my business. I'm not president of, I'm not interested in INEC. As president of Nigeria, if I'm told, as the question is today, that it's my duty to appoint an INEC chairman and the INEC commissioners, I will try my best as possible to appoint people who have a history of independence. That was why in the past they used to go for judges. Why? Because they came from a different branch of government, and they are used to being on their own. But when you take a civil servant, well, they always be used to taking decision by taking instruction. You will just be there like that. So because there's legal independence and there's mental independence. So that's that a person can have a chief judge of a state who is head of his own branch. But mentally, he likes to please the government. It's not a legal barrier. It's just like a dog likes to follow the owner. So, but a cat will not. So what you are thinking about is let us see what we can do in terms of legal framework. Make INEC further away from politicians because the president is a politician. Second, to put people in the commission who have a long history of being independent from government. And where you find them the most should be the judiciary. Though unfortunately, to say the truth, many judiciary now are also trying to bring too much information, but that will have enough population of judicial officers who just even became judges on the basis that they want to exercise independence thought. So if you do that, it will work. And more so if we appoint people who are not partisan, who are seen by the public over time, to the people who have partisan politics. But they have to be patriotic as well because the problem of some of these commissioners is not just that they are loyal to God, it's also loyal to money. Because so we have an commissioner or chairman who is pro government today. Because another one who is not pro government, pro money. And surrenders is authority for those who can pay him for it. So you need to many of the things. I don't think Nigeria is so fortunate that we don't have 200 people nationwide who can make commissioners, directors, chairman, and secretary, admin secretary. Who would do it?
Okay, sir. Now, I want us to digress a little to regional politics. You know, you are from the southwest. Do you believe that the south should produce the presidency for 20?
I don't get it. Because South has produced president with one leader, not as produced one leader. I'm not just saying not with that. Look at what I've done. What brought me out? I didn't wake up in the morning and say, oh, it's not of the South, let me come out. I woke up in the night and said, how can I be born in the country? And I became 50 years old. And that country is one of the richest countries in the world. And it's still battling with poor. It's still battling with poverty. It's still battling with underdevelopment. It's still battling with criminality and insecurity. That's what brought me out. So when I finish my term, and I'm able to eradicate poverty, and I can secure the country, you can go and be rotating after that. But this, my time now, is the turn of the people of Nigeria to get out of it. And that is what you should use to evaluate who you vote for. Forget about it. Persons who came from the south never represented the south. People who came from the north never represented them. Go to their hometowns, all of them. They didn't do anything for anybody. There was a time in this country we were thinking that, especially during time of Sanuluwa and Co, we were thinking that the reason why the despoilation and pollution of Niger Delta happened was that the people in government didn't come from there. But if they had come from there, the thing would have really caught up with them and they were passionate about it. So we're all happy when we found good luck, Jonathan. Have we solved the problem there? So what I'm letting you know is that let us focus on solving the problem of the country and make sure that we do three things. One, that the issues we raise through electioneering are issues that really are the problem we have. So that if we can, in the course of raising these issues, have solution to them, whoever wins will have had this debate and will have known that these are the issues that you have to fight hard on. Not that I've won, even the issues are not my issues originally, but these are the issues that people care about, then I will use it. Second, that in training people to come to politics, we let them be people who are thinking about our problems, not people positioning for their turn or whatever. The people, they know that when you come out, people will ask you, what issues are you coming out to solve? What problem, what ideas do you have? And thirdly, that because these issues are common to all of us anyway, it doesn't mean, for example, when I was addressing the IYG Joint Committee in Kaduna, I said, I am in favor of northern agenda. I am for northern interest. But northern interest, not the same as northern candidates. Because if northern interest meant northern candidates, you should have sought border of the north by now. You produce northern presidents, military and civilian. And no matter who becomes the president, 19 governors of the north will be northerners. So, majority of the senators will be northerners. Majority of houses of assembly members will be northerners, including House of Representatives. So, if northern candidature is not the same, who solved the problem of amnesty in Nigeria? Yaradua of the north. So, do you understand the problem? So it is would make at least an attempt, however incompetent the attempt was, to deal with the issue of Almajiri in the north. Was Jonathan from the south. So it doesn't mean anything. What matters is that your interest must be those things that keep you awake at night and disturb you in the day. And anybody who comes to address it, we don't want to behave like that in this country. If your wife is pregnant, as she's in labor, do you get to the hospital and say, I want a doctor from my hometown? If your child is not doing well in mathematics, and you're looking for a teacher to brush up the child, we say, I want a teacher from my religion. So when we have issues in this country that disturb us, that are of importance to us, we don't remember where the solution provider comes from. Let us use that approach when we are selecting our political.
Now, sir, you're one of the great believers of American.
Yes.
And it's a man that not just Kano people, but Northern Nigeria respect.
Yes.
What are some of the values you see in him that made you to believe so much in him?
Basically, one, and you will see that inside the American family, not just as a political being, even physically. I don't know anybody in Nigeria who's closer to the children and the grandchildren like I am. And that is very simple. That in public service is for you. You must forget about yourself when you are coming out to serve. Two, that you must live modestly. Whatever you had before, that's it. Don't try to add more. Don't be needy. Three, don't be a businessman when you're serving people. Don't judge your progress by how much money you make. Judge by social problems you solve. Four, that justice, especially social justice, you must have legal justice. So you see that Malam Kanu, Malam Sungu, they oppose the justice in the court system, native authorities. They oppose unfair interpretation of Islamic injunctions, which allow you to deny people of their rights. Women cannot go to school and nonsense like that. They oppose it. They also oppose social justice, where we say we're all equal. We all go to the mosque and bow and pray. But your stomach is full, my own is empty. What is the justice there? So you have 10 houses, you live with your brothers, and your brother is homeless. Then you hoard knowledge from people and say you are looking for a family of Malam. So there are a few of you who know these things. No, democratize knowledge, both Western and Islamic. And also we have what we have in culture. We are not foreigners. Even though we speak English, even though we use Western education, we're not foreigner in our culture. So we are all in our culture. I've lived in America, I've lived in many countries in the world. I share that view with fellow American part of your culture. So I'm first and foremost a prince of Ondo Kingdom. Doesn't matter whether I practice law over the world, I am with my people, I'm at home with my people, and I can walk on the street with my people. That being embedded with your people, living in Sawa by the power of the people, the purpose of the government for the people. That's what we share in common. And that equality is for God. Well, no matter how you are wealthy, if you are the king or you are a servant, on the day you die, you be wrapped with that white shroud, you be buried simply like that, you go like that. And that lesson, we should also learn it. When Elizabeth, the Queen of England, was buried, she was born as Elizabeth, and she was buried as Elizabeth. In between, was a soldier, was a queen, all of this don't know. In the end, we just so that sense what God drew me to. And I've been coming that he does his works, I follow him, I support what he has brought, I follow everywhere. You mention Aminu Kano's name, I support the idea of so that's basically that.
Thank you very much. So in your closing statements, I want you now to talk to Kano people.
Yes.
The closing statement. Just talk to people, let people know why they feel the best candidate and why they should vote for you.
Well, people of Kano know me already. You know me, people of Kano, your son, your friend, your compatriot, and we know that the struggle of the people of Kano to live in dignity and independence, to fend for themselves, to engage in scholarship, agriculture, and commerce, so that they can be independent of political authority and they can decide who governs them. They can put government in place and remove government. That is the spirit in which I have come to Kano. Kano is not a place where anybody can control from outside or from inside. That's why I say Kano say Kano. So Kano will do what Kano will do. And we are here to interact and exchange ideas. Kano people know that I understand all their needs in terms of agriculture, irrigation, in terms of developing a new revitalizing the industrial base of Kano. Kano has lost almost 90% of what is industrial power. I used to be loyal to the largest ceramic company in West Africa, in Kano here, and it is shut down by wholesale action of Bank of Industries and the federal government, and so many other things. And Kano is home not only for Nigeria, but so many people who are seeking independent commerce from all over the world, from Lebanon, from Syria. So Kano is a refuge of commercial refugees. People just want to do business free from interference, free from cheating. So I think we'll do that here. And Kano has a very good tradition for producing good scholars. Many good scholars, apart from the University of Kano, and so many good schools in Kano. So Kano people love education. And Kano people have also a sense of welcoming. So many generations of people of Kano came from different parts of Nigeria, West Africa, and the world. So that is what I brought to Kano, and to give them a federal government that they can support. Because Kano is not afraid to be different. If the federal government is full of serious people, unpatriotic people, they will go and vote and go elsewhere. But we promise them that the federal government is the one that reflects the kind of politics that Kano likes, progressive politics. And Kano is very good. Remember that MK Abela of the Social Democratic Party beat Kano Indigene handsomely here. Even in so polling. So Kano, there's no bias. So anybody who comes to Kano and doesn't have following needs to re-examine himself. There's no bigotry in Kano. Kano is solid. Kano will listen to you. They know what politics is all about. So I'm grateful to be here. Meet us on Wednesday when we have our rally, and let's behave well. No violence, no fighting anyone. Let us show them that we have people in Kano. We're not bossing people from outside to come to Kano like the others are doing. We're using Kano people to show that basically mediocre, we're very strong.
Please, Adewole Adebayo, it's nice speaking to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would have told you more, but DG, you're looking at me.